welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome to The Tonight Show. You're here. Here's something positive to kick things off. A new poll shows that almost 2/3 of Americans are feeling optimistic after President Biden's first 100 days in office. Of course we're feeling good. We have vaccines in our arms, stimulus checks in our pockets, and hot sauce in our goldfish. Come on, things are... That's right, 64% are feeling optimistic, while the other 36% had a rough weekend at the Kentucky Derby. According to polls, the last time we were close to being this optimistic was 2006. Ooh. I'm not surprised. That was when Tom Hanks brought back the mullet. Do you remember that? Meanwhile, as pandemic restrictions ease and the vaccine rollout continues, major companies like Domino's are now struggling to hire enough employees. Yeah, you can tell Domino's is desperate. Earlier today, they ordered Papa John's and kidnapped the driver.
Really?
Yeah, it's not good.
That is desperate.
Yeah. I also saw that Lowe's is looking to hire 50,000 employees, while Home Depot is looking to double the employees on the floor to 2. Hello? Hello? Anyone?
Use your app.
Echo.
I need a name.
What aisle are screwdrivers in?
May 16.
I've been here for 4 days. How do I get out? Oh, no.
Now it's my home.
I built a home in Home Depot. One place that looks like they're gonna need some workers is the world's largest White Castle. It just opened, it just opened today in Orlando, and there was a bit of a line. Watch this, look at this. That's all people waiting for. It's a mile long. Yeah. And you know, after hours in that line, someone is still gonna get to the window and not know what they want. It's my first time here, so...
What do you got?
You know, one guy was calling his wife like, look, I know he missed the birth, but... You'll be psyched when I show up with a couple of these steamed burgers.
I ate them all.
Some news from overseas. After Biden criticized North Korea in his joint address last week, the country is now warning that the U.S. will face a crisis beyond control in the near future. That would actually be scary to hear if we weren't already living in a crisis beyond our control. I'm not worried. North Korea's threats are a lot like the cicadas. They randomly show up, make a lot of annoying noise, and then you just go back to forgetting about them. Some business news. I read that Verizon is selling Yahoo and AOL for $5 billion. The deal is already being called the most successful tech sale of 1999. I didn't even know Verizon owned Yahoo and AOL. That's like finding out Apple owns Radio Shack. You know, apparently the deal almost didn't happen until Verizon threw in a CD-ROM with 100 free hours of AOL. Yeah, it was telling when they emailed the news to the heads of Yahoo and AOL, and they both had Gmail addresses. I'm sorry, but if you paid $5 billion for AOL, then
you've got
scammed. Timing?
Nice.
Oh, this is interesting. More business news. I heard that Gerber is searching for a new spokesbaby. Ooh. I mean, it's about time Gerber finally started looking for a new baby. I mean, the commercials were getting a little weird.
We're a company you can count on. Because here at Gerber, we provide only the best for your children. Gerber, babies are our business.
Goo goo gaga.
A little weird.
Goo goo gaga.
Yeah.
Smoking?
And this has been going viral here. A Starbucks employee tweeted out a photo of a customer's extremely complicated order. Take a look at this thing. Look at that order. Oh my gosh. Then Edward left Starbucks and held up the line at the world's largest White Castle. And finally, we all know the world can feel overwhelming sometimes, but it's good to have some perspective. So we wanted to give you something to make you feel a little bit better about yourself. That's why it's time for, hey, at least I'm not that guy.
Take a look at this. A tree fell on this porta potty while a man was inside.
There you go. Today is Teacher Appreciation Day, and tonight's audience is filled with New York City school teachers. Thank you for You always do incredible work, but to spend a year teaching remotely during a pandemic is really amazing. You're all heroes for kids, parents, and liquor stores everywhere. I'm so honored that you're here. I want you to know right before the show, I made sure none of tonight's jokes end in a preposition. I know a lot of you are back in the classroom. I'm sure it's nice to see the kids in person again, but you can be honest, I bet some of you are missing that sweet, sweet mute button. Yeah, right? We don't care about your weekend, Candace. A lot of businesses are offering discounts for teachers. I saw that Buffalo Wild Wings has a special deal, but Hooters doesn't.
Oh.
Which is probably smart, because if you thought running into your teacher at the mall was awkward. Speaking of school, yesterday President Biden visited an elementary school in Virginia, and he talked to some students about their remote learning experience. Watch this.
How did you like doing this from home?
It was kind of fun because sometimes when Miss B was like paying attention to something else, you could eat.
Sometimes, like if she like wouldn't let us like if we were like really tired, then we could take a little nap.
Biden was like, okay, there's 2 kids who are too honest for politics. Then Biden started telling a story, and the girl was like... After the Bidens left, the teacher was like,
What? What did you just do? The president and first lady were just here.
all right, we're gonna learn a new lesson called not being a rat.
They're never coming back to the school. What do you...
Meanwhile, everyone is talking about this. The Jimmy Carter Library just released this photo of the Bidens visiting the Carters last week. Have you heard of this? Take a look and see if you see anything odd with this photograph. It looks like a second grader made a presidential diorama. Can we see that photo again? They look like Jeff Dunham's retired puppets. I learned 2 things from the photo. The 2 families are very close, and Biden is the size of Jason Momoa. Yep, Biden is busy. Today he gave an update on the vaccine rollout, but he struggled a bit with the name of a website. Listen to this.
We're going to make it easier than ever to get vaccinated. Visit vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov.
That should make it easier right there. Again, the website is wrigley.vaccines.gum. The White House is like, damn it, somebody buy vaccines.gum right now. It's that. Buy it just to have it. Everyone's going to vaccines.gum. Yep, it's either Pfizer, Moderna, or Bubblicious. That's your choice. We'll make it easier for everybody. Vaccine.gum.gov.com. Here's some great news. Next week, the FDA is set to approve the Pfizer shot for kids between the ages of 12 and 15. Parents were like, good, because either way, they were going to summer camp. Meanwhile, Governor Phil Murphy announced that New Jersey is offering free beer to residents who get vaccinated through its new Shot and a Beer program. Which is why every 15-year-old just said they want to get vaccinated in New Jersey. Right now, some guy in Jersey is enjoying a free beer at a Bada Bing thinking, not all heroes wear capes. Some more COVID news. I read that Washington, D.C. just unveiled new social distancing rules that ban dancing at weddings. So if you planned a big choreographed dance, the mayor just did you a huge favor. If you're keeping track, we have an old guy as our president, tensions with North Korea, and we've banned dancing. This is going to be the best summer of 1952 ever! Well, guys, not only is it Teacher Appreciation Day, but it's also Star Wars Day. That's right. Today is May the 4th, and that means news anchors around the country decided to try out their best Yoda impression. Here are some of our favorites.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Do or not do. There is no try.
Do or do not. Do or do not. There is no try.
Do or do not, because there is no try.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Come on.
You actually did and didn't try. Do or do not. Do that is try. Well, here's another story everyone's talking about. After 27 years of marriage, Bill and Melinda Gates just announced that they're splitting up. Aww. You know Melinda Gates is thinking, finally, I can use a MacBook. I think they both deserve their privacy, but if ABC wants to make Bill the next Bachelor, I'm all in. I think we're wishing them the best. Remember what they say, when God closes a door, he opens a Windows 95. Finally, I saw that American Girl is bringing back its 6 original dolls to celebrate its 35th anniversary. Yeah. And this is nice. After the news yesterday, they're adding 2 new dolls. That's very interesting. Hey, this is fun. Today is Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo, which of course is Spanish for I puked in my Uber. Just a reminder for today, if you're thinking, is what I'm about to wear racist? Then yes it is. But this is nice in honor of Cinco de Mayo. Anyone who got their vaccine shot today got to suck on a lime right after. Let's get to some news. Well, guys, everybody is talking about this earlier today. Facebook ruled to uphold former President Trump's suspension. Yeah, so if you want to see crazy conspiracy theories, you'll have to settle for any other person on Facebook. Yeah, it's a tough break for Trump. Now he's scrambling to figure out how he'll keep in touch with his friends from high school. That's right, no Facebook for Trump. On the bright side, he still has a good excuse for forgetting his kids' birthdays. You gotta give this to Trump, though. He's the only person to leave social media without a long, annoying post about how he's leaving social media. I just can't do it anymore. Get this, since Rudy Giuliani is under investigation and facing a lot of legal problems, he's turning to an old friend to help pay for it all. Check it out.
New twist now in Rudy Giuliani's legal challenges. The New York Times detailing today how Giuliani allies are pressing former President Trump to help pay the former New York mayor's escalating legal costs. So far, to no avail.
No shock there, yeah. Rudy's basically saying, pay me or I'll spill everything. And when Rudy says he's going to spill everything, he means it. Things keep getting worse for Rudy. A former Ukrainian official told NBC News about a phone call that he heard between Rudy and the president of Ukraine's top aide. Listen to this.
He was especially interested in getting Ukraine to make a public statement and possibly back it up. This crazy allegation that it was Ukraine, not Russia, that meddled in 2016, which is obviously ridiculous, but that's what he wanted.
Hang on a sec. Can we see that guy again? When did I become the top Ukrainian official? Wow. Good-looking guy. He's a good-looking guy. But let's focus on the current administration. President Biden just announced that he wants nearly 40,000 pharmacies to start offering walk-in vaccine appointments. Yeah. If the walk-in appointments don't work, Biden's going to make pharmacists blow dart the vaccine into customers. Thank you. Did anyone see this? Today on Fox and Friends, Brian Kilmeade interviewed some kids about remote learning and returning to school. Let's see how that went.
How close are you to getting back in the room?
I think that we're very, very close getting back to school. And I think that the way that our new president is handling things is a very good way. And we would not have gone to this if it were still the last president.
Really? That's hard to believe because the last president was saying, I want every kid back in school.
You know, a Fox and Friends producer was like, mute him, mute that child. No, not Brian, the child. Kilmeade was then like, and another thing, you're a big dum-dum face. Speaking of school, New York City just announced that next year, snow days will be replaced with remote learning days. Which explains why third graders spent the day learning to say friggin' de Blasio. Meanwhile, teachers are like,
You come to me on this week of teacher appreciation and ask to cancel snow days is very disrespectful.
it's just some of the many voices you'll hear in my one-man show.
Oh, really? When's it
coming this holiday season?
Oh. It's remote?
It's a remote one-man show, yeah. And weirdly, there's a 10% capacity on that.
Oh,
even though it's remote.
On Zoom.
Yeah. I do all the impressions. Do
Really?
a version of the Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol? Do you do all the characters? Who do
Yeah. Give me a character.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim is played by John Travolta.
Really?
I can't believe we're not gonna eat this Christmas, right? What's going on?
Wow.
Anyway,
Bob Cratchit. What about Bob Cratchit?
Bob Cratchit, of course, he'll be Seinfeld.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that going to go? How would that sound?
I can't believe I'm not getting a raise. It's the holidays. You get people raises. Where's my bonus?
Is this part of your?
I thought they were showing a
Is this
video.
part of your
clip.
one-man show?
This is part of the one-man show where it looks like I had technical difficulties.
Oh, okay.
And then I get out of it by
doing the dad from Punky Brewster?
No.
French Stewart. Was
No, I
French
don't do
Stewart
French
there?
Stewart talking about. No, I do Bullwinkle Moose.
Oh, what does he say?
I can't believe there's all these technical differences.
It's a long show. About 3 hours. 3 hours and change. And finally, someone in Wisconsin just filed a lawsuit claiming that bagel bites do not contain real cheese or tomato sauce. I guess they missed the authentic mini pizza bagels that Grandma brought back from the old country. Well, guys, it seems like there's so much going on right now. You got Prince William and Kate Middleton. They just launched their own YouTube channel. Cicadas are returning after 17 years. Yeah, oh, they are. Sunday is Mother's Day. And I heard about a woman who claims to have found a cigarette in her taco at Taco Bell. There's a lot to go over, so let's just jump in and cover it all at once. It's time for a news smash. First up, Prince William and Kate Middleton have launched their own YouTube channel. They plan to upload videos, though it's not clear how often. They could post every day, or they could post once every 17 years. That's right. The cicadas are back. Experts are expecting trillions of these loud, obnoxious bugs to emerge from underground just in time for Mother's Day. It's this weekend, so if you haven't bought a gift, you should get on that, though Mom would be happy with whatever you get her, as long as it isn't a taco with a cigarette inside. That's right, a woman says she found a damn cigarette in her Taco Bell meal. That's disgusting. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather find a cicada. They only pop up once every 17 years, so it's easy to forget about them. But it's okay as long as you don't forget about Mother's Day. I mean, how could you? Flowers, cards, chocolates. Mother's Day stuff is everywhere. No matter where you turn, you can't escape it. Kind of like the royal family. Every TV show and movie is about them, and now they're taking over YouTube, too. I can't wait to see their first prank video when they put a cigarette in someone's taco. What a terrible meal. It is the opposite of what you'll get on Mother's Day. And you get to eat it in bed. So in conclusion, this should be fun. There's gonna be a ton. Mom, you're number one. Think outside the bun. This has been a News Smash. Hey, this is exciting. Today is National Nurses Day. Yeah, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. Yep, after Cinco de Mayo, everyone spent the day either thanking a nurse or needing one. And listen to this, the CDC just announced that they expect to see a sharp decline in COVID cases in the U.S. by July. That's right. So get ready for Etsy's newest item, bikinis made from recycled masks. This gives me hope that we can celebrate the 4th of July the way it's meant to be celebrated, at a neighbor's barbecue, judging their house and trying to leave. Speaking of COVID, I read that the Mets and Yankees will soon offer free tickets to people who get vaccinated at their games. That's fantastic. Then after parking, food, and a t-shirt, the vaccine will only cost you about $400 or $500. It's actually a great idea, except they're having the peanut vendor hurl the needle at people. You could also look for the guy in the parking lot who's yelling, "Pfizer, get your ice-cold Pfizer here!" I'm kidding. Fans just have to show up on time and hope that Mr. Met has steady hands. Meanwhile, I saw that New York City is taking the effort to a step further and now wants to start vaccinating tourists. I can't wait to see a German tourist be like, "Yeah, I just got the J&J at the M&M store." Yeah, that's right. Tourists are excited. They're like, "It's New York City. We're going to get stabbed one way or another." The vaccines would be administered in a mobile van. Here's a word of warning to tourists. If someone rolls up in a van and offers you a shot, don't get in, unless it's Mr. Met. Some news from overseas. I read that Russia just authorized use of a one-shot COVID vaccine called Sputnik Light. Which means everyone lining up in Russia is hearing, "We're out of Sputnik. Is Sputnik Light okay? Is that fine?" It tastes the same, basically. I mean, it's just as effective. Some news from Washington. I saw that House Republicans want to kick Liz Cheney off of their leadership team because she refuses to side with Trump and say the election was stolen. You could tell Republicans also upset Dick Cheney because they were like, "We should totally ditch Liz. She's such a..."
Liz,
right.
I am your father.
Liz Cheney said Republicans have to choose between the truth and Trump, to which Republicans said, "The truth never gave us free hats." You guys getting tired? It's all right. We're almost at the end. Some entertainment news. HBO just released the first images from its Game of Thrones prequel series, House of the Dragon. Yeah, here's one of the photos they released. We don't know much, but you can tell that they're not brother and sister because they're not making out. Can we zoom into the background for a second? How did they miss that? Come on.
You think they would
How did they miss that? You think someone would
learn their lesson?
Well, can we zoom out? What's going on? I've seen those people in the Hamptons. You guys see this? Last night, the New York Rangers and Washington Capitals played each other, and the game was pretty wild right from the start. Take a look at this.
Dowd and Garnered Hathaway, they combined for 2 goals, 3 assists.
Here we go.
Right off the face-off, 3 fights simultaneously. Rooney and Dowd.
People were calling it The View on ice. Yeah, there were 6 fights in the first 5 minutes, and a photo of the Capitals penalty box went viral. Look at this. Looks like a Canadian prison. Can we see it again? It looks like a white guy vending machine. Hey, get this. In Ohio, lawmakers introduced a new bill against distracted driving. Okay? And on the same day that that bill was proposed, one senator tried to hide the fact that he was driving during a meeting. Watch this.
Programs to allow for the legislative process and discussions to continue.
On the regular agenda, are there any holds, no votes, or abstentions? Senator Brenner.
No hold.
The guy was like, what? The seatbelt? Well, when I get this rocking chair moving, who knows what's going to happen? I'm not in a car. You're in a car. Then he was like, sorry, my Zoom's cutting out. I'm going through a tunnel. I mean, no, I'm not going through a tunnel. I mean, I mean, I'm going through a toll booth. I mean, not a toll. Why would I say toll booth? And I'm just going to pull over. I'm going to pull my house over. Hold on a second. And finally, a 12-year-old just built the world's tallest popsicle stick structure. Check this out. Wow. Oh, yeah, we got to get the kids back in school. It was cute until he said, I'm building my own 5G tower to avoid government surveillance. Yep, everyone said, great Eiffel Tower. Well, the kid was like, Eiffel Tower, this is Shaq's toothpick. Hey, this is exciting. This Sunday is Mother's Day, everyone. We love all the moms out there. The kids and I planned something special for my wife. We made our own cards. There's going to be breakfast in bed. I booked her a mani-pedi. Whereas on Father's Day, I got a Post-it note. It said, we love Mom. On there. I read that over the years, the average mom receives 45 pieces of homemade artwork. That's a lot. I'm sure after the first 5, even Da Vinci's mom was like, how long before I can chuck this thing? I mean, is he watching? Yeah, Mother's Day is almost here, and if you're looking for some last-minute inspiration, you may like this commercial I just saw. Check this out.
Here at Zales, we know how special moms are, and that's why we have the perfect gifts. Like a giant locket that goes with nothing, even though she mentioned wanting a manicure. Or a diamond-encrusted Mickey Mouse necklace, even though she handed you the number to a spa with a note that said, buy this. Or a Casio watch that looks like you got it from a claw machine, even though she literally screamed running shoes at you over breakfast. Zales. Just get her what she wants.
Oh, that's sweet, isn't it? It's kind of beautiful. Well, let's get to some news. Yesterday, President Biden visited Louisiana. Did you see this? Yeah. And he opened his speech with a story about another time that he visited the state. Listen to this.
First time I came down here was a guy named Russell Long, who I served with. I was 29 years old when I got elected, and I went to see Russell Long. He said, how much money did you spend in your campaign? About, I said, a little over $285,000, but then I had to borrow some money to get through it. And he said, good thing you won. And I said, how's that? He said, well, you got yourself a $38,000 deficit. And I said, yes, sir. He said, well, if you hadn't won, you just have a plain old deficit. Now you can have a deficit party. God, he was amazing.
You know you're talking for a while when you watch the tide come in and go back out, right? You know that. I'll tell you one thing, Biden sure doesn't have a deficit of long, rambling stories. Can we check in on Biden right now? Where is he?
It's hard to believe that one of the things that...
I believe it.
I know.
Gosh, holy moly.
I'll give you time.
Well, things just keep getting worse for Rudy Giuliani. I saw that because of his growing legal bills, Rudy had to lay off several members of his entourage. It's the worst news those people have gotten since they found out that they were in Rudy Giuliani's entourage. I'm in his entourage? I didn't know he had an entourage. I always assumed those people with him were orderlies. Well, this made me laugh. Last night on Jeopardy, I saw a contestant ran into a little trouble answering a question. Check this out.
Hot stuff for 1,000.
Stefano Ferrara is a famous maker of these, which can reach a temperature of 800 degrees inside. Steve.
Is it calzone?
No. What are ovens?
It's like, of course, I'm sorry. Who is calzone? When he said that, other contestants were thinking, you idiot. While everyone at home was shouting, what are Hot Pockets? They actually are 800 degrees. Well, here's some news here. This isn't good for those of you trying to take an Uber or Lyft this summer. Listen to this.
We're back with a heads up for Lyft and Uber customers. A shortage of drivers is making the cost of the ride shares much higher than they used to be.
Yo, wait, I have to pay more for Uber now?
Yeah, sorry about that, Tariq.
It's all good. But I actually bought a Hyundai last week, so I'll drive myself. It's fine.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Roll the clip.
Hyundai is recalling more than 390,000 vehicles for two problems that can cause fires.
What? How am I supposed to get around this summer? I guess I'll just sit at home and eat some ice cream or sherbet.
Well,
don't you dare.
Roll the clip.
Almost 100 popular ice cream brands and sherbets have been recalled over possible listeria.
Well, at least I could eat some of that chocolate shell topping that goes on ice cream. Here's hoping there's no recall they want to make me aware of.
A recall we want to make you aware of. Hershey's is voluntarily recalling some of its chocolate shell topping.
Come on!
I'm sorry, Tariq, there's got to be something else you enjoy, but what's your favorite snack?
Oh, it's easy. The Ruffles, all dressed potato chips.
Frito-Lay is issuing a voluntary recall of select bags of Ruffles all-dressed potato chips.
What do I even have left? The beans in my cabinets?
Check your cabinets. There's a recall of black beans and chili beans nationwide.
I give up. This summer is a bust.
Oh, come on, Tariq, look on the bright side. I mean, aren't you going on that double date this weekend?
That's true. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Who are you going with again?
The Bill and Melinda Gates.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on. Let me see. The beans in my cabinets? And finally, that's such a good read. Finally, I heard that Rome just unveiled a new vending machine that makes hot pizza in 3 minutes. Oh. Here it is. Yeah, look at that. And if you buy a vending machine pizza in Rome, it also comes with a T-shirt that says, "Rob me, I'm not from here."